So listen, we've got our guests waiting, so we don't want to keep Tiz waiting too much longer. We do want to talk about the spice situation, so we'll bring Tiz on first, and then if we have time permitting, we'll speak about what's going on with reggae artist Spice. It's a hot mess, is all I can tell you. But in the meantime, we've got Tiz from Recover who is joining us here. The beautiful Tiz. Good morning, Tiz.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. You look very pretty today, I must say.
I have to go to court after this, so.
Oh, okay. Making your best
day.
impression. Did you get your new webcam up, or you just look beautiful regardless of what camera you're using?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay. So. All right, no problem. So Tiz is here from Recover, which are the experts in personal injury, attorneys at law. And she's a regular feature the first Thursday of every single month, and she talks about different elements of personal injury. So Tiz, what is it that you've got on the agenda for us today?
So I want to hit a few topics, actually, because I don't want to see anybody in my office. I don't want to see you, because if you're coming into my office, that means you're hurt and your life has been affected and you need help. So we want to try to prevent as many accidents as we can. And a lot of that has to do with being safe, like even before you step into a vehicle, right? How many people out there actually walk around their car before they get in it and check to see that you don't have a flat tire or a nail stuck or a hazard. There could be like cats and dogs sleeping under your car. You have no idea. So it would be really good if people get into a habit of just doing a walk around the car before you even get into it, and making sure it's safe. And then there are certain things that you should be doing while you're in the car before you turn it on, to also ensure that you're driving in the safest way possible. So I can walk you through those as well.
Yes,
especially if people share a car, like, a lot of families share a vehicle. So different people are sitting in the driver's seat, and the seat could not be adjusted to your level. That's number one, right? So you want to make sure you adjust the seat, that it's upright. You don't want to lie down and drive. And then you got to
that going on.
You've seen that? I've seen it.
Oh, I've seen people lean back. Like, I don't even know how they can see the road, to be honest.
I know somebody who basically takes a nap while they're driving in traffic. Like.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen it's not even comfortable. And it has occurred to me, I often think, how much can you pay attention? Because that's a very relaxed position, as you said. How much are you actually paying attention to like the road when you're in that kind of reclined position? But yes.
Yeah. It's so important. You got to be alert. You have to sit up straight, and you have to be able to see around you, what's behind you. So adjusting your seat, making sure there's enough, like you reach the gas and the brake, but also not being too close to the steering wheel, because if the airbag goes off for whatever reason, you don't want that to explode in your face. You'll get severely injured. So you have to make sure, I think it's 10 inches that should be between your steering wheel and yourself. So other than that, look at your mirrors. Make sure that you can see from the front mirror, the side mirrors. You don't want to have any blind spots when you're driving. So just make sure. Sometimes they get moved. So you want to adjust those to make sure you can see properly. And then your headrest as well. Your headrest is there to protect your head should you get hit. So you want to make sure that it's directly behind your head. And that could also, save you from getting seriously injured. And then
let's back up just a little bit, Tiz. In relation to when you go out to the car, what should you, because I'm guilty of this. I don't ever look at anything. I don't even look at the tires. And sometimes I've had people say to me, "Oh, miss, that tire looks a little bit low. You probably want to have that looked at." So what are some of the things that you should do as sort of a little checkpoint before you drive off?
You just basically, the most important, like the most obvious thing would be the tires.
Mm-hmm.
But just check that there's no hazards around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like when you move your vehicle, that you're not going to be hitting something else as you try to move it, or that there's like not a nail on your driveway that's going to pop your tire. Uh, just walking around to make sure that things are as they should be, right? Sometimes people go to the store, they park their car, they do their groceries, they come out, and somebody hit them because and didn't stop, like they
Mm-hmm.
as they reverse out of their parking. So you want to make sure that your car's safe and it's
Mm.
drivable.
Okay. All right. Good. And you're right about animals as well, because I've actually seen a little puppy get injured in this way because it was under the car, like close to the engine, trying to stay warm, and the person didn't see it. So it's a good idea. I think cats will do something similar, but they kind of scurry off once they see you get in the car.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a good bit of advice. But tires can be, having tires that are not properly inflated, that have a leak, and you haven't noticed that, it has some nail or whatever in it, can cause you to lose control on the roadways. So it's very good to pay
Definitely.
attention to that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then once you're in the car, most important thing is wear your seatbelt. Please wear your
Yeah.
seatbelts. It's crazy the amount of people that think it's optional. It's the law. Wear your seatbelt. They're there for a reason. They're there to protect your and restrain you in case of an impact, right? So
Hmm.
why not? It takes 1 second to click in. Just wear your seatbelts.
Yep. Very good. And I noticed that a lot of sort of newer vehicles annoy you to death if you're not wearing your seatbelt. They're
Yes.
constantly dinging and clicking and whatever noise that they're going to make to tell you to put that seatbelt on, right?
Yeah.
So that's quite good. Do they still make? I don't know if you know this, Tiz, but do they still remember back in the day? They had cars that had like it was a seatbelt where you could click like the bottom half, but then the top half you could take off. Do you remember those? I haven't seen those in a car in a really long time. I don't think that they probably do that style anymore.
I think
Um,
that the two harness seatbelt is the safest one. Yeah. So you
yeah.
have your
Because
across
there
the
was one
shoulder
where it
and
was
then
like
the waist.
connected to the like kind of the door jamb where it moved when you close the door. I don't know if you remember those or not.
Is that like in a minivan maybe? Are you thinking or no?
I remember seeing them like in smaller cars, but they're probably a thing of the past. They probably just don't make that they probably just don't make that design anymore. I'm not sure. But anyway, okay. So wear your seatbelt. I think the evidence is clear that seatbelts actually save lives. So
Yeah.
buckle up, wear your seatbelt. Correct seat positioning is important. Making sure that not only that you can reach the pedal, because I'm a little bit on the shorter side, I feel like. So for sure, when I get in Marlon's car, I have to make adjustments to like the seat. I have to bring it forward, making sure I can reach the brakes as well as the accelerator. And then if you share cars, always having to like do things like adjust your mirrors and stuff before you take off.
Yes.
Yes.
And on that topic of sharing cars, you
Mhm.
want to make sure that your insurance company or the company that's insuring your vehicle also has you covered in case you loan your car out or you have multiple drivers, right? I can't tell you how many times I'm been seeing the insurance companies take an off coverage position because the person who was driving the vehicle, even though the vehicle itself was insured,
Mhm.
if somebody is under 25 or does not
Mm.
have a Caymanian license,
Mhm.
then that's an automatic exclusion. And somebody who causes an accident, there's no coverage for the person that gets hurt in those circumstances. So you want to make sure that anyone you share your car with or you loan your car to, or even your rental vehicle contract, just
Mhm.
keep an eye on what's covered and what's not, and who's allowed to drive and who's not allowed to drive.
Good advice. Because I think most policies in Cayman will cover any driver that is over the age of 25. But like you said, there are other exclusions that might apply. So you have to read your policy. And I wonder how many people actually read their policies? I mean, I think a lot don't. So they don't even know, exactly what it says. But your recommendation is to have a look at it and make sure that you're in full compliance. One of the things that has come up recently, just last week, in fact, I had another attorney reach out to me from another law firm, and they want to have this discussion about these sort of exclusionary things that will pop up in your policies that people may not be aware of. So, for example, if you are drinking, your insurance company is going to say, well, whatever damage you caused to someone else, we are not going to cover you. What are your general thoughts on those types of policies?
Yes, it's really important to actually look at the policy because they actually vary. So I have some clients who come in with they've been injured from a drunk driver, and there's absolutely zero coverage because they committed a crime and they were charged with over the limit, right? And so there's zero coverage, which means the person driving is responsible out of their own pocket, right? I've seen other policies where the property damage caused to the vehicle is not covered, but the bodily injuries are covered. So there's nuances between the policies, and it's so important to, when you get your renewals, nobody likes to read more paper, but in this case, it's really important to see because sometimes the insurance companies change things on you and you think you're covered, but then, you later find out when it's too late that, it doesn't include a bunch of things that you thought were included, and then you're in a problem.
Yes. And I mean, we've heard of people even getting killed, but because the driver was a DUI or drinking and driving, the family of that victim is not going to be able to recover because of irresponsible behavior. So why don't we talk now about, when you're getting in the vehicle as a passenger, maybe some of the things that you need to consider. Like, it's never a good idea to get in as a passenger with someone who's been drinking.
Absolutely not. Like, there's got to be another way home. Don't take the risk of getting into a car with someone who's been drinking. You don't know how many they've had. You don't know their, tolerances. You don't know how long they've been drinking. So, I mean, that's just, you're asking for trouble if you do that. I know there's taxis here. There's no Uber, I don't think, but there's buses and taxis. Call a friend, call a family member, or just don't get in the car. Just wait. It's horrible. It's horrible what we see with the drinking and driving here. And if you have a chance to avoid an accident, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've got some questions and comments. So John LaRue says, I'm not sure when Tiz says, I don't want to see anyone in my office. He says, I don't know why Tiz says, I don't want to see anyone in my office. If that were the case, she wouldn't have a business. I guess it's a form of passive advertising. Can you explain when you make that comment, Tiz, exactly what is it that you mean when you say, I'd rather not see you in my office?
Well, everybody knows the amount of car accidents in the Cayman Island is just absurd. We're busy enough. We don't need new clients. We don't want to see you hurt. That's the point. I mean, we're a law firm. We have a lot of other clients and business that comes in. The worst is to see someone who's, severely injured, cannot work. Their lives are ruined. Their family is to pick up the pieces. It's just really, really sad. So I genuinely say that I don't want to see you guys hurt in accidents if it could be prevented. I mean, accidents will happen for sure, but it's those ones that could be prevented by taking proactive measures that really are sad, to see because they don't have to be injured.
Right. And what is the legal position now? Say I'm a passenger in somebody else's vehicle, right? And they get in an accident and I'm hurt. Can I make a claim on my insurance? I
So
guess I need to read my policy first.
you have to read your policy. Most policies, the majority, I would say, are they only cover third party. So if you cause somebody injuries. However, I know that a couple of companies, Brit K in particular, they offer comprehensive coverage. So that means that even if you're hurt and somebody else's fault and there's no coverage on the other person, then you would be covered. So it's a bit more expensive, but it is offered, and most people just don't take advantage of it. The other thing that they won't insure your vehicle for comprehensive if it's a certain age. For example, if the car is more than 10 years old, I think they're not likely to give you comprehensive coverage. So comprehensive meaning your own insurance would pay for your vehicle damage as well as your bodily injuries.
All right, so folks, I think the biggest takeaway so far this morning with Tiz is to ensure that you actually have a proper read and look at your policy so you can know what you're covered for, potentially what you're not covered for, and of course, to ensure that you are being fully compliant. So Katniss says, and people who hit your vehicle but have no license or insurance, and you're forced to make a claim, evaporating your no claim bonus and making your insurance premium skyrocket. Now, I think I've seen some insurance companies here doing this. I know they do it frequently in the US, where you can do like your first claim, they kind of give you what they call claim forgiveness. So if you have to make a claim, it doesn't necessarily, Katniss, do that. So again, maybe it becomes a matter of shopping around for policies that offer that. Because I mean, like Tiz says, accidents happen, things happen, you get that one-off opportunity where it's not going to impact especially your no claim bonus that you're getting or your premium. So maybe shop around for that. Because I've seen, I believe, at least one local insurance company who has offered that no claim, like it's called claim forgiveness or something like that. Alma says, well, Brit K is pretty good. I've been with them for over 10 years, and so they continue to keep me fully covered. So that's fantastic. And again, things like the age of your vehicle is important because at some point you can only get third-party coverage, I think, for some older vehicles. I don't know what the cutoff is, but again, speak to your insurance company and make sure that you understand the elements of your claim. And this goes, folks, this is good advice for all of your policies. You know, we're in the middle of hurricane season right now, and a lot of things, might happen in terms of a claim. Ensure that you read those homeowners' policies and you understand what they cover from what they don't cover, how much you have to pay. Like there was a storm we had last year. I had a friend that had a little bit of property damage, but when they looked at what the copay was, like what you have to pay first, they were like, well, this is quite a bit, and it does not actually make any sense for me to try to make a claim. Although it was still big money if you got to find it out of your own pocket to make the repair. When you look at what you're going to be doing to your insurance policy, making a claim, and then first having to make that initial, copay or whatever they call it, you're going to be in a worse financial situation, unfortunately. So just make sure that you know exactly, what policies you have.
And on that point, I know specifically with home policies, the market has been pretty hot, and so property value goes up, right? And the insurance company will not cover, they'll only cover whatever the value of your house is at the appraisal value. So if their paperwork is old, like 5 years old, and your house went up 500,000, they're not going to cover you 100%. So they're asking that you get a fresh evaluation to get the proper value of the house so that they can update their records and make sure that you're fully covered.
Very good. And Natasha says it's not only the age, but the condition. Fidelity insured my car at fully comprehensive for 16 years. Wow. And going into the 17th year, they said they couldn't because of in-house policy.
Yeah, see
Okay.
what I mean? Like every insurance company is different. They do things a little bit differently. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to really make sure that that you get that information from them, because maybe you want to shop around, like Sandy suggested, and find another company that offers something different for you to meet your needs.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good. 936 Bobo's telephone number, 936-2626. If you've got a question or comment for Tiz, make sure to give her a call. This is your opportunity to do so. She's going to be with us for a little bit longer as she goes through some of the things that you need to be thinking about when it comes to your protection for your car and vehicular insurance needs, and just some safety tips as well. Tiz, what else should we as owners and drivers on the roadway be thinking of?
Just be alert, because no matter what time of day, accidents happen at any second, right? So just when you're driving, I know like driving is almost like second nature to a lot of us. So we're just like zone out. We're in traffic, we're zoned out. But it's really important to pay extra attention to what's going on around you, in front of you, and even behind you, because sometimes you can see something coming at you, and maybe you have a chance to swerve or move off to the shoulder of the road and avoid something happening to you. So you just have to be very diligent when you're driving at all times.
Yes.
No matter how tired you are, no matter how stressed out you are, it's you have to focus on the road, because they're dangerous.
Okay, caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hello there.
Hi.
It's me again.
Oh, yes. I was waiting for you to call.
You know, you're in my yard.
Yes. Road safety for sure.
Did you know if you're not wearing a seat belt?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all investigators, but there are people on the island. I will not call their name. Well, I know you don't listen to your show. I know he will not know because he's not listening to your show, so I know he don't listen to your show.
Okay.
But there are people on the island that can tell. I think maybe the people from the car companies, they have computers that they can stick in the car and tell if the driver was wearing their seatbelt.
Oh, really?
And I can tell because I was trained. I was trained to do that.
Okay.
I can tell.
Wow.
Actually, there was a serious accident, and the driver said that he was wearing a seatbelt, and I was able to prove to Mr. Ramsey that he was not wearing a seatbelt.
Wow.
And he lied in his statement saying that he was wearing, and I told Mr. Ramsey he was not, because I'm trained to do that.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, you can tell if the person was wearing a seatbelt.
Never knew that, but good to know. I mean, I always wear mine 99% of the time.
Listen to this.
Yes.
And look it up on Google. I did not Google this. I learned in the classroom at Oxford University. It's called seatbelt pretensioner. Seatbelt pretensioner.
It's called seatbelt pretensioner. Pretensioner. Okay. All right. I have to look at what that means. Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. We did have another caller who was attempting to get in as well. Give us a call back. 936 Bobo is the telephone number. John says, I encourage people who have car damage to get multiple quotes, as I went to Car City and they wanted $3,500. And another guy down Dump Road fixed it for $500. Perfect. Avoid claims if you can. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
If you have a motor vehicle that is third party, but it is in excellent condition, expensive rims, expensive paint job and all the works, and someone ran into it, but because of the year of the car, it just followed 1,500. Is there any way you could get compensated for all the work you've done to your old car?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you. I'll ask Tiz. So Tiz, when you buy a vehicle, a lot of people do upgrades to the vehicle. So the original purchase price or value might be X. but then they put in sort of more expensive, like you said, in this case, rims or whatever custom designs. Are you able to get compensated for those things?
So when you're dealing with the insurance companies, they usually take the book value.
Mhm.
And so it's really up to you to prove that your car is worth more than what they say.
Mhm.
And the way that you can do that is to get several quotes of other vehicles, maybe in the same, maybe not exactly the same condition, but similar, to show that their value is higher.
Mhm.
Or also keep all your receipts to show whatever you've done to the vehicle. Maybe some stuff can be salvaged. Sometimes the insurance company wants to take the vehicle for parts, so they'll pay you off the vehicle, whatever the scrap value is. It depends really on the year of the vehicle, the type
Mhm.
of vehicle. All these different factors play into it. So there's not just like a standard answer I could tell you for that.
Right. But if you have a vehicle like that and you've made these sort of improvements, should you inform your insurance company of the improvements, which probably means even if you just have third-party coverage, you're going to be paying a little bit more. So you have to, before an incident happens, shouldn't you be saying to them at the time of coverage, or to increase your coverage amount? Say you only paid $1,500, but you put another $2,000 worth of upgrades. You should go to them and say that so that you can get it insured for the higher amount. I would think that would make
For
more
sure. And that's a great point, and it makes me think of something else as well. When people do modifications to their vehicles, you got to make sure what you're doing is legit, because some things are actually a reason why insurance companies would not cover you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me think, because I recently came across this. The car was upgraded with that muffler, the loud muffler thing. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what it's called, but the insurance company did not know that vehicle had that feature on it. And
Okay.
when this car caused an accident, they came back and said, sorry, we can't cover this loss because you made modifications to the vehicle that were not allowed under your policy. You didn't let us know, and now you're on the hook for this person's damages.
Right. Wow.
So be
So
careful.
I fancy that insurance companies are happy to take your money, but a lot of them, when it comes to paying out, are trying to find exclusionary clauses and ways to not pay you. And this is why Tiz is here, because she's saying, in the event, not she doesn't want you to go out there and have random accidents and get hurt, but in the event that you find yourself in an accident and something has happened, you want to give them a call, because then they at Recover are in a position to look out for your best interests. The insurance companies, they have lawyers, they have people the second you make your claim that are going to be trying to dissect your claim and pull it apart and not pay out that money. And so Tiz, along with the rest of the Recover team, are there to try their best to ensure that you actually get compensated fairly.
And another point is, like, sometimes when you're in an accident, when the police come on the scene, depends on what their schedule was or how busy they were, but sometimes they actually get it wrong. They actually report the accident wrong, and you'll need a lawyer to kind of navigate through that, especially if you're injured. Because if you're injured and the police say that you're at fault, you can't make a claim. But if that's actually not the case, then you want to make sure that you gather the evidence and then it is presented. Sometimes I have a client that got charged with an accident. It was not his fault. And then he goes to court. And then at that time, the police realized, oops, we reversed the driver, the at-fault driver. We got it wrong. It wasn't him. It was somebody else. So, yeah.
Wow. Interesting. All right, caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, just a quick question with two lawyers in the room.
One lawyer and one law degree holder.
Listen to me. You know better than that. You know that I know you better than that, though, okay? That's what they say, but I know you better than that. Just a quick question. I think that what you do to your vehicle also has to be permitted by law. You can't improve your vehicle according to, like young people do, but what they do is not looked after as kind of legal by the law, because
Right.
I'm sure the insurance company not gonna cover that.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't,
Thank you for that comment.
okay.
Good point. And that includes like lights. There are lights that have been found to not be legal here in this jurisdiction, colored lights and stuff like that. You're not supposed to make those types of modifications. So make sure outside of your insurance policy, I mean, there's going to be a general clause that anything you do has to be lawful. So make sure if you're into making modifications that they're actually lawful modifications. Everything from the tint in your car,
I was just
To-
going to say that.
the
Yeah.
types of wheels that you might be putting on. Some of these young fellas like these low rider wheels that are like wide wheels. And, they change the entire balance of the vehicle, and that can make it not as safe in certain types of situations. So ensure that it's lawful and it's legal. And then, yeah, good point, caller. All right, Tiz, any final comments before we let you go today?
Just the safety thing. I don't think that we can drill it home enough. Just take your time out there, be safe, be alert, be vigilant, wear your seatbelts. And now we're getting into the holiday season, right? So a lot of Christmas parties, functions, events, after work drinks. Just be very
Don't
careful. If
drink
you have
and
drinks,
drive.
please don't get in the car. Watch
Yes.
out, not only for yourself, but for everybody else around you.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right, Tiz, we always appreciate you coming onto the program. Every first Thursday, you can find Tiz here from Recover Personal Injury Attorneys. And we'll talk about, they don't do just motor vehicle accidents. I mean, that's a big one, obviously, like she said, on this island, just because they share numbers. But there are other types of personal injury as well. So maybe the next time we can dive into, some of those others also. But Tiz, we always appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
great
wonderful. Have a great day.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to